Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending today's webcast.
And it looks like we have lost Mark for a moment here.
Yeah, I don't know, just cut out Mark, try to see if he can come back in.
All right, sorry about that. Adam and Matt, can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can.
Perfect. And I'll just conclude from the intros here in just one second as we admit more attendees. Great. Well, welcome again, and I'd like to ensure that every reseller in attendance today has a firm grasp on today's System Center content. Should you need any support on the topic, we'll share an email alias with you toward the end of the presentation. And as you may have seen in our communications, we will be giving away an Amazon gift card, the value of $250 US. To be eligible, we'd like you to give us some feedback in our post-event survey. We'll share that survey link at the end of the presentation today as well. Now, without further delay, I'd like to introduce hosting service provider, Director of Worldwide Channel Strategy for Hosted Cloud Services, Matt Haynes. Matt, your presentation.
Hi, thank you, Mark, and thank you all very much for attending. I really appreciate the response we're getting to these webcasts. Many of you, I understand, have been to some of the SPLAR summits that we've had across Europe and Middle East, and even in the US. And so you're seeing and hearing about a very important program for all of you and for all of your hosting customers called 12 Conversations. These are critical channel motions that we're providing all of you with the content to drive very strategic and very important solutions into the what we call channel managed hosting segment, your customers. I think you've heard me point out a number of times that this understanding and executing on this direction for Microsoft is critical for FY16 as we start to move our channel incentives, the way you all make money, towards this type of go-to-market strategy. So, for instance, we've had the Cloud Platform Suite, and today is the natural follow-on to that, which is Systems. Both of these SKUs will be part of an FY16 channel incentive design strategy. So the sooner everybody starts to get to executing against this motion, I think the better it will be for everybody. So that I'm going to turn it over to the gentleman who is the architect of the 12 Conversations, who you were all with last month when we did this, and we'll be going forward.
Matt, thank you. And my name is Adam Bogobovic, and Matt, thanks again for the introductions. What I will do today, so you can see the agenda of this presentation, I will first introduce you or reintroduce this concept of 12 conversations to make sure that if you haven't been to the first one, you understand the flow and what we are trying to design and give it to you guys. And then we'll talk about the System Center, and we'll introduce to you content, tools that we have for you, and even an abbreviated pitch to give you a sense of how to position this product for your partners. And of course, at the end, we'll have a call to action and some guidance for you of what to do next and what's the easiest way to pick it up and take it into a sales motion. So with that, let me remind you of what we are doing here and why this program is called 12 Conversations. This is a very programmatic motion that we are driving.
Adam, I think maybe you may have something may have dropped off. Is everybody hearing Adam?
We can hear you, Matt.
You can hear Adam.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
There you
So
go.
we can hear you now, Adam. Sorry, you've dropped
And
off.
when did I drop off?
Right when you started reviewing what the 12 conversations. Now you're good. Thank you.
Okay, super. So let me just do a quick recap then. Not sure where I've lost you. So it's a pattern, it's a rhythm and program. Each month, different conversation. Today is System Center. Next month, you will receive Productivity Suite, and this program will continue. And every month for the next year, you will have one of these conversations delivered to you in a fashion and a way that you see it today. So make sure you do provide feedback to us at the end of this presentation, because we are built on our learnings and your feedback to make it better every time we introduce it to you. There is also something that I want to tell you about the way we are building these conversations and what it is that we want to give it to you. So look for those points when you look and give us feedback. I want to make sure that every time we chat with you, that we enable a new dialogue for you with a partner, which means we give you insights and data points for you to sound and become a trusted salesperson with your account. Build confidence in the accounts that you're talking to, and give you this position of an advisor with the account, and all this in a path of building relationship with the accounts and adding value beyond the components of the software that you're already selling to them. So enabling the sales motion. Now, this conversation is a fairly technical piece of content. This conversation is about System Center and how System Center enables hybrid cloud scenarios for your partners. So it's interesting because it actually touches in a very deep way on how we articulate our strategy and how you can use that strategy and that articulation to position yourself correctly for the future relationship with your partners. So you must have heard this one before. Microsoft talks about 3 clouds. On-premises clouds, which is our old enterprise business, now enabled with cloud software and new sets of technologies. Microsoft Cloud, which is either Office or Azure, and then hosted cloud, which is the cloud that we enable with our service providers. System Center has this unique role of being a unified management platform across all these clouds. So when your partners think about hybrid cloud, they need to connect these 3 clouds, and to do so, they do need that unified management across. So the simplest way to think about System Center in this context is to think about System Center as a glue that brings these 3 separate pieces together.
Adam?
And this is actually, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. We're only showing the last slide of the deck currently, so I think you need to advance that up to the first slide. Right now it's just showing the final slide of the deck, at least on my screen.
I'm on slide 7. Does everybody else see slide 7?
I see slide 7, Adam.
Okay, maybe it's just my machine. Sorry.
Good. I'm glad I'm following my path here. So the glue. So that is a very interesting concept, because it's not only makes this idea easier to understand, but it's actually, and I've been pitching it to a number of partners, it actually resonates very well with the partners. They get it. They understand that management is the unified platform for them to bring the clouds together, and talking about the glue makes it just so much more easier to understand and explain. So then the next question is, okay, so who do I introduce System Center to? What are the right targets? And here, the answer is that the targets are the hosters that either have the ambition to deliver those new services, hybrid services, or hosters that have the capability of delivering those hybrid services. So when you look through the portfolio or look at targets, that is, I would look at somebody who's actively trying to move forward with their business. This is definitely not a laggard conversation. Look for somebody that's looking to differentiate themselves, because either they have always been good at differentiating, or they are understanding now that that differentiation is something that's going to help them move forward. A great conversation that I recently had with a data center, a colo partner, trying to move up the stack, add new hybrid functionality, and actively looking into System Center and the Cloud OS and more broadly as a way to build that differentiation and new capabilities. So then, of course, I want to make sure that you are armed in the right pieces of collateral and knowledge and the language to be able to deliver this message to your prospects. And to do so, you will see here, if you participated in a previous conversation, the CSP conversation, a very similar set of deliverables for you. So as I mentioned, we're trying to make sure that every month when we talk to you, these pieces are going to be consistent, look the same way, and very easy for you to consume. The first of them is a script, and all the scripts that we give you will have the same frame. They will talk about how to qualify customer, what questions to ask them to understand if they are the right target for the System Center conversation. There are some teaching moments that we have ready for you, data points that you can leverage to open up a conversation. And then proof points. What I've done is I've collected various case studies and data points to be able to make sure that the story has legs and you can follow up on it with either global references or local references. And I'm not stopping there. I want to make sure that you also have the ability to extend the conversation, follow up after the initial call with deeper pieces of data and content, and give your partner a chance to study, analyze, and understand deeper of what it means to them to purchase this particular license type for you and engage in this deeper conversation with you. And the last, of course, is asks. How do you end this conversation? What do you make them do? And I'm not diving into the details of what these categories are for System Center. So this is something that's the first thing that you need to do after this call, which is to go and read through them and understand if this is what it is and how to deliver it. Now, there are one more piece of content that we've built this time, and this is extends a little bit on what we've done with CSP based on your feedback from you and learnings. We have a tele-discussion guide that's actually slightly deeper than we've done before. So when you think about the telescript, it's all words in columns. The tele-discussion guide is a graphical representation of that logic for a conversation. So here you see we're pointing out and by the way, this is done in a sheet of paper that can be pinned to the cubicle and ready for the seller to reference. We are pulling out questions to ask, and
Adam, did we lose your audio?
and frame and confidence before you go and deliver it. Now, there's also another really important concept here. It's pitching System Center. You can either do it from a very broad perspective, talk about this glue concept and ability to be the management framework between the clouds. But as you know, System Center has multiple pieces, multiple subcomponents in it. And the knowledge of all these subcomponents is fairly difficult to understand. I mean, it takes a few conversations with a partner to be fluent in it. So what I've done for you is I broke that broad concept of System Center into 6 very simple scenarios that I already know resonate with a partner, that they will know what to do with. And I have them listed for you here for you to be able to deliver them to a partner, but also ask questions about them so you can advance your conversation. So for example, The first one talks about rich content, rich tenant management with WAP. And okay, so then question will be, how do I position this scenario? What is this scenario? How do I position them in front of my partner? The first thing to do in a conversation will be to ask them, do you have customers that are consuming today a public cloud? Because that comes with a certain expectations on the UI and the certain expectations about the manageability of their system. If you do have these customers, you need to meet these requirements with your technology. And here comes your pitch. SystemCenter allows you to provide them with that level of functionality. So now you had the first conversation, you asked the right questions of the partner, they're able to respond back to you, you introduce some of the core concept behind the System Center, including the glue. What do you follow up with? And what I would like you to do is to use this very fundamental data sheet to reinforce these messages with a partner. It comes as a PDF document, so it's something you can either print and hand deliver or something you can email to your partner. And it touches on all the core concepts behind the System Center, but also extends it into touching on a few data points, even some core values and core functionality of the system that then the partner can read about and either ask you questions or a follow-up on their own. As you can see here, all the data sheets are branded, so your company name can go onto the document and be delivered to a partner. And then if you remember the flow of the pitch that I was drawing for you, the next come the proof points. And here I picked 3 for you to leverage. One is a company called Ecula, and it's a great proof point because these guys are doing exactly what I was describing. They're actually able to deliver services across the 3 clouds, on-premise, Microsoft, and hosted, and they do this specifically with a System Center with the right set of quotes in the case study to leverage. The second one, I focus on Tieto, which is one of our cousin partners, and this one has a different take on it. This one talks about the growth that a partner can generate by leveraging System Center and leveraging hybrid services. The last case study is actually a connection point to the previous conversation we introduced to you guys, the CSP, the value of the economic value of Cloud Platform Suite, and talks about the other side of the economic equation, the savings that you can receive from having better management and more efficient licensing method for driving your business forward. And this one comes from Uber Global. So there is more case studies and more proof points as these 3. If you need to look at them, or if you think your partner needs more references, the data sheet that we built for you, the second page of it is a list of case studies for you to leverage with quotes, and it will frame it. And you can pick the ones that are more relevant to you or more geographically appropriate. And finally, you should expect a partner to ask you questions. This is a technical conversation about a piece of software that allows them to build new services and extend what they do today. So, and of course, many of them will do more than just business on Windows. They will also do business with Linux. So you may hear from them that System Center, and they have a perception that System Center will not manage their Linux environments as well as it does the Windows environments. So one of the answers for those objections that I built for you specifically talks to that point and gives you pieces of content to use to show the partners of what are the functionality levels in System Center. They will help them solve that problem, which in this case is it will help them manage Linux in their mixed OS environments. Now, let me make sure I can switch the slide here. You have to give me a second. I seems to have a bit of a technical problem. Just hold on a second. Mark, are you still there?
Yes, Adam.
Would you mind advancing slide to slide number 17?
There you go.
Thank you, and just give me a second here. Okay, so now thank you. Now I can see it, which makes it so much easier. So, guys, live is an open book text. We don't have to remember all this stuff. It's actually ready for you. It's sitting on this particular share. But I would like you to do just that. To actually right now go to this link and take a look at this content. Don't take much time. Take just 30 seconds. But click on it. And first of all, see if you have access. If you don't have access, you may need to request it. And the spla@meritmile.com is an alias where you can send an email asking for that access. My big point here is that all these pieces of collateral, the pitch, the framing, and the case studies, and all the pieces of content you can deliver to your partner are available to you, and you will be able to leverage them because they're simply sitting on a share and ready for you. And I can see Mark's comment that we will, of course, circulate that link after the webcast. But again, you don't have to become a System Center expert in the next 20 minutes to be able to confidently deliver this message, because this is all available for you and ready for consumption. Okay, so I'm assuming you went to the share. At least those of you were able to do it on a first try with the right access. When you get there, you will see all the collaterals. The one that I have on the slide here open up is the data sheet, and you can have it, as you can see here, in a PowerPoint format and a printable, again, brandable, so you can make it ready for your for delivery for your company. So I'm going to switch gears now. I introduced the flow and the pieces of the content that we have ready for you. And now I will do an abbreviated System Center pitch for you. So this is what I am imagining you will be doing in front of a partner. And I'll simply walk through the content. Now, this is going to be an abbreviated pitch. So I will talk to each of the components of the message, and then I may comment on it, but it's not necessarily me pitching to a partner. It's just me walking you through the logic of the story. So it starts by, and I'll skip the topic here. This pitch starts with this core message of telling your partner that moving forward requires you to leave your legacy behind. And the reason we do this is because the partners you will talk to either build their own set of scripts to manage components of their business, or don't use very sophisticated management. But whatever it is that they do today, they have to think forward towards those hybrid services, and that forces them to leave the existing systems behind and look forward towards the new. The reason they have to leave legacy behind is also because of the fundamental change in the market that's happening. And I have a couple of data points for you to point them to it. The growth of the public cloud is number one. Azure services, as you can see here, grew in Q2 2014 by 164%. The size of the public cloud is just phenomenal and growing at an astounding rate. And what's also happening is that the price point for the infrastructure delivered by the public cloud is rapidly dropping, and therefore forcing customers to, or changing the business model behind it, changing the partner business model. Now, what that means to your partner is that they have to build new set of services, new experiences, and touch new audiences. And they have to do it with at low cost and new level of quality that is now demanding because of the expectations set by the public cloud. And they also have to do it in an automated way because that's the only way to connect the clouds together. So when you look at these new things that have to be done, you can already see partners that succeed in delivering against these new objectives. And here I'm referencing back the 3 data points and 3 case studies that I introduced to you a couple of minutes ago. 3 clouds by Ecola, 50% growth of the business by Tieto, and cost savings that Uber was able to achieve. Now, these companies are able to do so because they selected System Center and the unified management for Cloud OS as the platform on which they build their business. And this slide goes a little deeper into talking about what it means. It talks about the fact that System Center allows and is self-service aware, that allows to manage applications because it's application aware, and that it's multi-tenant ready and scalable and automated. So these points are referencing back the key value props and the key change vectors that we're introducing to a partner. And here I would expect you to tell a story to make this pitch come to life. So I'm going to give you a story that I've heard from one of our salespeople, and you're welcome to either use it or leverage your own story that has a similar meaning. So the story here is about a fairly significant hoster with about 500 hosts running a data center and having a performance issue with their system. Once in a while, the system would simply, the performance of the system would degrade, and it degrades significantly enough for the customer to notice and complain about it. And they couldn't figure out what it was. They just were not able to recognize of what was causing the systematic failure of all the nodes at random times. This partner installed System Center Operations Manager, which gave them insight into the performance of both the hardware, the virtualization layer, and the applications. And what they discovered is that they actually had a high-performance compute set of nodes on the system. And when a partner who was sharing this environment was using this HPC system, the nodes would heat up. But it would heat up to a point when the heat would impact a surrounding nodes next to the HPC cluster. As you can see, those racks actually physically connected with metal components, and those components would carry the heat through the system. And of course, the moment the system heats up, it impacts the performance of the CPU, and the performance of the overall data center was impacted by that one customer. Now, with System Center, they were able to understand of what was causing these issues, discover the HPC system, separate it physically, and solve the problem. So you're welcome to use this story, but my point is, in your pitch, please make sure you have this story, this richness of an example when you're offering the System Center as a solution to their problem. And then in a data sheet, you have a list of other case studies that talk about people who succeed with System Center. Here is a slide that makes that point. There are many companies that are able to take advantage of it, and you, Mr. Partner, could be one of them. And we do have a solution for you. We can help you work either directly with us or with one of the system integrators that Microsoft has already trained and is ready to work with you to either do a POC for System Center or to help you implement this complete system. So as you can see, and I was going quite quickly through the pitch, but the overall pitch for the System Center can be fairly simple, and it does not have to go into the details of discussing the System Center components. You can actually stay at a fairly abstract level and deliver the value proposition of System Center and move your customer to the next sales stage without diving into the functionality of SCOM or System Center Operations Manager or any other components of the product itself. So at this point, I would like to do an experiment. We haven't done it on a previous webcast, but all of you have access to the IM. So even though we've closed this conversation, you cannot ask questions on a phone. I would like to open these conversations for questions from you via the IM. And I'll give you a few seconds to warm up to it and find the right buttons. And then we'll see if you ask the questions, and we'll go through a short Q&A session here, if I see questions coming from you.
Thanks, Adam. That was very helpful. And just to reiterate, we're giving the attendees an opportunity to ask questions over the instant messaging tool within the webcast. If you have any questions, now is the time to fire away.
And I see folks already typing questions in, so that's awesome.
And while we're waiting on a couple of questions that are incoming, I want to remind everyone that this webcast, the recording as well as the presentation, will be made available on the SharePoint that we will circulate over email in a post-webcast follow-up.
Okay, and we have a first question. Let me read the question. CIS contains SQL Server technology, but not for the Azure pack. The customer needs an additional SQL Server for that. Are there plans to change that and make the Azure pack cheaper? So we have another licensing type, and this actually is the one I mentioned in the first conversation we had in this series, is the CPS license type. That particular license type actually comes with a SQL license for System Center, which, as I understand, should support Azure Pack as well.
And it looks like Martin is typing a follow-up.
We'll know a second if I got the answer right or not. And guys, we're looking forward to your questions. Please don't hesitate to ask them. And one thing you can type in the IM, and just as a warm-up, you can tell me if you are able to connect with the content that we've created for you and the link that I presented.
We'll share that link once again in a subsequent slide here in a few minutes for those of you that didn't get it the first time.
And we have okay, so some folks cannot connect, so we'll follow up with if you tell us actually that this is a faster way and the way to shortcut this process. If you let us know right now you cannot connect, we will know how to follow up with you, and we can give you the rights to it. Just make sure you type in your email address as you are letting us know that you cannot connect. Okay, and we have a question from Martin. It does, but for highly virtualized environments, CIS is a better option. Of course, I agree. And I don't know of any plans to extend CIS today to include the SQL license for the management component of the stack. So no, that's not an option. Okay, and thank you for the pings from people that couldn't connect. This will makes it much easier for us to give you the rights. And I'll give you guys another 30 seconds. If there are no other questions, we're going to move on to the next part of this talk. And I think there's one more question coming, so let me make sure that I allow for that to happen. And thank you for the rest of you for patience. Okay, and if you cannot access the content, that's either you have to email us, and we'll provide it again in the end of the presentation, the email address for it, or just make sure you type in your email address in your I can't access the content IM. And I still have 2 or more people typing, so I'm just gonna give it one more second. By the way, the pitch that I gave to you, or the abbreviated pitch that I gave to you, is one of the pieces of content that's available to you right now, and you're welcome to leverage it as is, or rebrand it with your story, your logo, and use it as a tool to deliver this content to a customer. And as you can see here, let me pause for a moment. I still have folks typing in. Okay, and it works for some folks already. Very good. Okay, I'm going to move on now. So where do we go from now? What is the call to action? What's the right way to make this into a workable solution?
Perfect, Adam. I'll take it from here. And
Mark, thank you. I was just going to transfer it to you. Thanks so much.
I appreciate that, and I really want to extend a big thanks to the SPLA reseller community. We had a great turnout today for the System Center presentation. It was thorough, and for those of you that are curious about the materials, we can provide them to you here at this SharePoint in the short URL. If anyone has supplied their email address in the instant messenger window, we will go ahead and automatically add you to your accessibility to that site today. And as a follow-up in an email, we will also provide direction on how to request that if you did not provide your email address in the instant message window. As a final request today, beyond downloading the materials at the SharePoint, if you have access, we'd also like to ask you to provide us with a little bit of feedback, something that'll help us in these conversation presentations moving forward, and providing us with a little bit of guidance on whether or not you thought the material was useful from the form of sales and marketing guidance, as well as level of technical detail. When you get a chance, please click through, and as a reminder, all of those who fill out a survey and supply their email address will be entered into a random drawing for a $250 Amazon gift card. Lastly, I just want to ask anyone that has any remaining questions to go ahead and use the instant message window. If you don't have an opportunity to do that right now, please email us with any questions or any feedback directly at spla@meritmile.com. And once again, to reiterate, the entire webcast as well as today's presentation will be made available on the SharePoint within 24 hours. Adam, thank you very much. Matt, thank you very much, and we appreciate everyone's attendance today.
Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, and please look forward to seeing a save the date email for conversation number 3 to be held in early January. Thank you again.